This coronavirus pandemic period has been a pretty good opportunity for people to start something. So I thought I would look back to the beginnings of this channel and pull out the most important points that made this channel successful. So here's what you need to know about starting anything.
Do we have any videos that we can look back on? I wouldn't mind seeing some of your old stuff.
We're gonna give it a go. It's 0 degrees. It snowed last night. Here we go.
Deal.
This call is being recorded for training and quality assurance purposes.
Well, hello viewers. And it's a growing viewership every single day.
All because of you. Stuck around with me at the beginning. I don't think I'd be here if it wasn't for you.
You're absolutely right. It's all because of me. I get 100% of the credit and not you.
He's being humble, but I honestly don't think we would have made it here without him. Because,
ladies and gentlemen, this is Tees. And if there was no Tees in my life, there probably would be no DownieLive.
there are two kinds of people that are starting something. The first, that needs to be told no, it can't be done, and that fires them up. They have to prove you wrong. And the second is more like myself. We need encouragement and support and to be told we're on the right track and keep going. And for me, Tees was that guy. Tees was my roommate, and every day he said, keep going.
At the time, you were my biggest supporter and biggest advocate while we were roommates, obviously.
I needed it more than I knew.
There was quite a few people in your life that were big supporters of yours. Like you had a lot of people in your corner. But I think having the proximity of living with you at the time, like it just allowed me to be a good wall to bounce things off of.
It's very likely that your first attempt will be awful. But that's how you get better, is by practicing, by doing, and progressing.
It didn't matter what I wanted to do. You were like, yes, best idea ever.
Well, for sure. I mean, at the end of the day, I think some iteration of DownieLive would exist anyway.
And that is so much easier to do if you love what you're doing.
Mostly because of how driven you were to succeed. That had a large part to do with it. And along the years, like it's not like this has been smooth sailing. It's not been the case at all. I don't think a lot of the viewers really understand what goes into creating a channel from the ground up.
So pick something that you love. So when you have to do it over and over and over again, it's fun and better every single time.
Well, I think the biggest thing that I learned from you that I could pass on to you watching, not you Tees, but you viewer watching, is you taught me this, Tees. You can't learn it from me. You taught it to me. I found that you encouraged me nonstop. There was almost never when you were like, nah, that's a bad idea, don't do that. You were always like, yeah, give it a go.
If you don't look back on your first attempt and cringe, then you're not progressing. Making the first bad version of whatever you're making is the first step to making good versions and better versions.
So your encouragement for me to just do it was the best way for me to get better. And that was a big part of, looking back at some of my old videos, you are in the very first video I made. And partly because
Yes.
you were like, just film it. Come along, let's go.
All right, guys, I'm here with Tees, an Aussie driving in Vancouver, Canada. It is snowing out and we're covered in ice and we're hitting roadblock after roadblock as roads are closed, buses are blocking the roads. So we're currently trying to get through some quiet neighborhoods that are not used to this kind of traffic, let alone with heavy ice and snow. Here, the first step to getting better at something is to make the first version. Then you can review it, critique it, analyze it, and then hopefully improve on it for next time. Here's an example. My hair. I'm gonna watch this video when I get home when I'm editing. I'm gonna review it, analyze it, critique it, and hopefully for the sake of both of us, I can improve it. But no matter what it is that you're making, it doesn't matter about what tools you're using. It's about the story or the message you're trying to convey. For example, no one cares what kind of brush the painter used to make their painting. We only care about how that painting makes us feel. It's not about the brush. It's not about the camera I use. It's about my message, the story.
That's an important point. If I can just quickly touch on that, that's a really important point, because I think this goes with a lot of different things we do in our lives. We forget what actually matters at its core. It's not about buying the best equipment and thinking that you can do something. It's about actually doing it and being invested in that goal. Your goal was always to do your best with what you had and get a story. You're not going to be good at telling a story by having the best equipment. You're going to be good at telling a story because you gave it a crack and you got better.
And if you focus on that, you'll connect with people. Now, before I get to the final point, I just want to show you just a couple of the random things I went through my first year on this YouTube channel.
What are some highlights of living in Canada? For those viewers of mine that are not from Canada and maybe don't know exactly what it's like, you've had some pretty Canadian experiences. And what would you say are some of your...
January, I think it had snowed 10 inches or a foot. There was a lot of snow. And we were standing on the beach and there was still snow. And I think that's a very unique Canadian experience for me anyway.
I would say you went bobsledding.
Oh yeah, definitely, yes. Did go bobsledding, yeah.
You went curling.
Yes, I did. I'm not very good at it, but I did it.
And I'm gonna want to like spin it to the left.
Was trying out some like odd things like the gyro gym that we did.
I don't think I've ever used my chords this much before.
I don't care if it didn't do anything for me. That was fun as hell.
And my last piece of advice for you is set yourself up for success as best you can. Get rid of any option of failure. If this is truly what you want, you have to figure out the best way for you to achieve it.
I quit my job in the middle of the day to purposefully burn that bridge. So I could not go back to that job.
Yeah.
I
remember that day.
I came home and you were like, oh, you're home early. And I was like, I quit. You were like, oh, I had talked to you about it beforehand, so you weren't too surprised, but you were like, oh, great.
I think that's a critical thing for a lot of things that people set out to do. If you have one foot out the door, ready to bail when things get hard, you're not fully in. And if you're not fully in, I think people can sense that. I think when people watch you, they know you're committed and they know that you're being genuine. People want to see genuine. So I mean that's the humble beginnings of DownieLive right there. And everyone has to start somewhere. You just got to give it a shot.
Boom. There's your advice from Mr. Teese himself, ladies and gentlemen. Just give it a crack.
Just give it a crack. Like, give it a red hot go. And really, if you give it an honest try and you can look back and say, okay, I wasn't successful, not for any other reason that you didn't try. Like, if you look back and say, I didn't really give it a good shot, then you never know what you really could have had.
And my addition to that would be, do it your way. Do what works for you. Don't try and do it like someone else does, because we're not looking to find another of that person. We're looking to see something different, something we haven't seen before. And if that can be you, then that's what you want. That's what we want.
And my best piece of advice is, if you love it enough and you want it badly enough, don't quit. If you quit, you'll never know how close you were to success. It could have been that next whatever it was that you're making. Do it. Just start. Right flat. Start. If you don't start, you'll never make it. I promise you that. I'm Michael. The channel's DownieLive. Go get it. It's yours.
Ending the recording.